And I spent 2 weeks at Al-Aqsa Hospital, and I think it's fair to say I wasn't remotely prepared for what I saw. I saw the most appalling atrocities, and I saw things that I never would have expected to have seen in any healthcare setting. I saw things at Al-Aqsa Hospital which I still wake up at night thinking about. Appalling injuries in particularly women and children. The most devastating burns in small children. One child that I'll never forget had burns so bad you could see her facial bones. We knew there was no chance of her surviving that, but there was no morphine to give her. So not only was she inevitably going to die, but she would die in agony.
This is Hiyam Abu Khadr. She's 7 years old. She is one of the victims of the war in Gaza. A bomb hit her family home, so her father and brother were killed, and her mother also was injured and she had burned, and she sustained third-degree burns on 40% of her body. She was supposed to be evacuated to Egypt, and she waited for weeks before she was eventually evacuated, and she died 2 days after evacuation because it was too late.
The hospitals rely on quota systems for how many drugs they keep in their pharmacies and their stocks in each department, and they have to choose between whether do I fully stock my operating theater, my ICU, or my emergency room. And this is where you have doctors faced with horrific decisions of having to intubate and amputate children and adults without anesthetics in emergency rooms. The longer this war goes on, the longer these wounds have to rot, and I mean really rot. The infections are getting worse and worse, and it's horrific. It's horrific for our providers, and it's absolutely horrific for these patients.
The healthcare system cannot cope with the work now. It'll be inestimably worse if there is an invasion of Rafah. What is so urgent about the need for a ceasefire is that the only way that aid that's being delivered to Gaza, and we welcome every bit of aid, the only way that aid is going to get to where it's needed is if there is a ceasefire.